You're listening to an African Elements top news story for April 2nd, 2025. Please visit our website at africanelements.org for more daily news. Protecting your 23andMe data, concerns for Black users. Many of us have turned to DNA testing companies like 23andMe to learn more about our roots and health. It's a powerful tool for connection and discovery. However, questions about who controls our most personal information, our genetic code, are valid and important. Understanding the protections 23andMe claims to offer, our legal rights, and the steps we can take to manage our data is crucial. Especially within our community, where history teaches us to be vigilant about how our information is used, knowing the landscape of genetic privacy is key. This breakdown explores 23andMe's stated policies, the legal safeguards in place, and how you can exercise control over your genetic data. We'll look at what the company says it does to protect you and what options you have if you have concerns. Staying informed empowers us to make the best decisions for ourselves and our families regarding our sensitive genetic information. Therefore, let's dive into the details. 23andMe states clearly that it aims to protect user privacy. The company asserts it will not share your individual genetic data with employers or insurance companies without your explicit consent. This is a significant promise, aiming to prevent genetic discrimination in crucial areas of life. Furthermore, they emphasize that your data isn't shared with public databases unless you specifically agree to it. Regarding security, 23andMe highlights its use of multi-layered measures to safeguard information. They point to achieving several ISO certifications, which are international standards for data protection and security management systems. When it comes to law enforcement requests, the company maintains that authorities need a valid legal process, like a warrant, to access individual data. They also commit to notifying users about such requests unless legally prohibited from doing so. Additionally, users maintain control over whether their genetic data is used for research purposes, with the ability to grant or revoke consent at any time through their account settings. Beyond company policies, specific laws offer protection, particularly for residents of certain states. California, for instance, has robust legislation like the Genetic Information Privacy Act and the Consumer Privacy Act. These laws grant Californians significant rights over their genetic information held by companies like 23andMe. Recently, these rights gained heightened relevance. California's Attorney General, Rob Bonta, issued an urgent alert concerning 23andMe. Citing reports of the company's financial instability, he strongly urged California users to proactively exercise their rights under GIPA and CCPA. The concern is that if the company faces financial difficulties, user data could potentially become vulnerable. Therefore, taking action now to delete data or revoke consent is presented as a protective measure to safeguard sensitive genetic information before any potential issues arise. Knowing you have rights is one thing. Knowing how to exercise them is another. Fortunately, the process for managing your data and samples with 23andMe is relatively straightforward through your account settings. If you decide you want your data permanently removed, the company provides steps within your profile. It's wise to download a copy of your data before initiating deletion if you wish to keep a personal record. The deletion process typically involves confirming your request via email to prevent accidental removal. Similarly, if you consented to have your biological sample stored, you can change this preference. Through your account settings, you can specifically request the destruction of your stored sample. Consequently, these tools give users direct control over the life cycle of their genetic information and physical samples held by the company. Concerns about genetic discrimination aren't new, and there has been advocacy to address them. 23andMe itself notes its support for anti-genetic discrimination laws. A key piece of federal legislation is the Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act, passed in 2008. GINA generally prohibits health insurers and employers from requesting genetic information or using it to make coverage or employment decisions. This federal law provides a baseline level of protection across the United States. In addition to federal law, 23andMe mentions its support for state-specific acts in places like California, Texas, and Virginia, which may offer further protections. Alongside these legal frameworks, the company reiterates its commitment to data security through technical measures. This includes holding ISO certifications and conducting ongoing vulnerability assessments to try and keep data safe from unauthorized access. Ultimately, Understanding both the company's stated security practices and the existing legal protections helps paint a fuller picture of the safeguards surrounding your genetic data. Copyright African Elements.